This programme was made with the support of the Broadcasting Authority of Ireland.
With pedals turning, the miles are burning, revealing landscapes so awe-inspiring, from the crashing ocean to the mountains climbing. Ireland is there for you and me.
I really like Ireland. It's the countryside is so beautiful. It just keeps me going. And
it's the scenery. It's so attractive, here. It's beautiful, really. It's absolutely spectacular around here, really,
It's beautiful, really. It's just when you are up at the mountain and look down to the valley, it's overwhelming.
There's only one thing, it's the people that make this country so special.
The people are amazing, and also the small pubs. I love the small pubs.
Definitively the people, and the same for my friends. People have been really, really nice, all of them.
The people here are so nice and friendly. They're just, everywhere you go, there's people that help you.
Everyone's got a smile on their face, everyone is very happy, and it's a joy to be here.
It's just the softness, the soft approach to life, the joy, that sort of soft joy about life, and the humour was just probably what I come back for.
Maybe a little country, but we've got big hearts, we're good-natured.
I don't think you could live in any lovelier place in the world. I wouldn't move anywhere from here.
I'm Paul Wright and welcome to the first programme of On Your Bike. Over the next few programmes I'd like you to join me on an odyssey of discovery as I cycle along Ireland's majestic western seaboard. From Dingle Bay in County Kerry to Clew Bay in County Mayo. Along the way we'll meet many interesting people and hear them talk about many things. Most of all, their undying love for the Emerald Isle, its natural beauty and its rich cultural heritage. And so it's time for our adventure to begin. Our start-off point, Keith Finnegan's Hostel in Tralee Town.
Hey, how's it going? My name's Hamish and I'm from Christchurch down the South Island of New Zealand. I've come over here for 8 months travelling and here I am in Tralee, running a hostel.
Fantastic. And your colleague, Hamish?
Hi, I'm John. I'm from New Zealand as well, also from Christchurch. Didn't know Hamish at all before he got here, but now we're good friends. I spent the last 6 months in Canada before I came to Europe, and here I am in Tralee now.
Fantastic. And living the dream, as the guy says. And men, just before I ask you about your travels, because we've just been talking about your extensive travels over the last while, what do you love about Ireland yourself? I mean, you've been here for a certain time. What is it about the country that you love most?
There's only one thing, it's the people that make this country so special. Everyone's got a smile on their face, everyone is very happy, and it's a joy to be here. And I've never seen anything quite like it, with the old man walking down the street saying good morning to you and the old lady saying good day, and this is something special. We also have this similar in New Zealand, but here in Ireland it's something unique as well. So, and everyone is worried and cared about your day and how you're feeling, and this is what I enjoy the most about Ireland. So that'd be the people.
No, Hamish, you're saying all the right things, but have to keep you talking there now. And how about yourself, John?
I don't want to sound like a broken record or just keep saying what Hamish is saying, but the people are amazing. And also the small pubs. I love the small pubs, just...
I knew the old drink would come in there somewhere.
The small low-key local pubs with the local people having a jam session on their instruments. It's just amazing. Just love that. The local music is what I really enjoyed the most, I think.
Fantastic. And men, just what about the landscape? I mean, because you're coming from New Zealand, which is an absolutely beautiful country. I've never been there myself, hoping to get to it someday if I win the lottery or whatever. And but in many ways, kind of similar lands: Ireland, New Zealand, mountainous, beautiful pastoral countryside, and so on.
Yeah, well, New Zealand, we got the flat plains. Where we're from is farmland, and it'd run 50 kilometres up to the mountains, the Southern Alps, and then from there you got big rivers running down. It is similar, but we don't have the history as such as Ireland. Here around Ireland I see an old cemetery or the farm with a stone wall built around it, and for me this is something special and something unique as well. But see, in New Zealand we would share the similar climates, but the landscape is very different, very, very different. And here also in Ireland, it's, you know, the history with the buildings and such that we don't have in New Zealand. But for the landscape, what do you reckon? Is similar to New Zealand?
That's it's similar. There's places in New Zealand that are really similar to the landscape here. I mean, all the farmland's a lot bigger. I guess the paddocks, the fields are, you know, twice the size and don't have all the hedgerows or that in them so much. But yeah, there's some really. It reminded me of home as soon as I got off the ferry from France. I'm like, it's just like New Zealand.
And we speak English as well, which is great, you know what I mean? So a common tongue. Yeah. And then just keeping on this, was there any particular, so far in your travels in Ireland, any particular highlight? You know, maybe you saw one particular place where you said, wow, your jaw just dropped, metaphorically speaking.
Dingle was very beautiful, and the beaches around Tralee. There you go, up Finnet Ways and Banner Beach and Inch Beach, and they're good surfing and good beaches to relax on and to make you feel like at home here when you're on the beaches like this. So, it's good. I like Tralee. To come here, I haven't done so much travelling as yet around Ireland, but to be here, it's a beautiful city and with very nice people. But that's as good as it gets for me.
Yeah, mine was there was the Beara Peninsula. That was beautiful out there. The rocky hills, the sort of the layers with the grass and then the rock coming through. That was amazing. Yeah.
Getting back to Hamish here. Hamish, we were just talking about language and picking up slang words here in Ireland. Just tell our listeners there, but make sure they're suitable for the broadcast realm.
Yeah, when I first arrived, I couldn't understand a word. It took 3 or 4 days to get my ear around it, and like, what's the crack? And you fella down the road, and as I'm speaking now, I can even hear a little slight Irish accent going on in the foreground, you know. So I've picked up a few of the words, but yeah, no, it's grand. And because here in Ireland is famous for telling a story and to have a conversation. So I've really had to improve on my conversation skills being here, I tell you. Spinning yarns, yeah. But it's been very good, very nice. I was in Scotland as well, and they have their own little accent up there as well, quite similar to the Irish, but it's hard to get to. At first, it's hard to get the local lingo. You have to tune your ear into it.
And Hamish's work colleague Eileen had this humorous story to tell.
We get loads of people coming through. Last year we had a lovely little girl now from France, and she was very nice, and we work very hard here in the hostel, and we help out some days in the farm. So one day she came to help in the farm with me, and sometimes we work so hard we forget to eat. So she had come up to me and she said, I am very, very hungry. So I said, what? She said, I am very, very hungry. So I said, what? I said, you're out in the most beautiful farm in the countryside. Take off your shoes and go for a long walk down the lane. And so she looks up at me and she says, I don't understand you. So it was afterwards I understood that she said she was very, very hungry. So I felt terrible, but we really laughed and we enjoyed it, but she was hungry. We often really laugh about that one. It was so funny. You know, my kids say, Mom. But it was funny.
And Eileen, just regarding, when people come, you're getting people from all corners of the world. I mean, what attracts them to this neck of the woods?
Well, we have a very good location, Tralee, and we're right smack in the middle of the town, and we're in between Killarney and Dingle. So we get a load of people who will come along and they'll stop over. But we've many people who'll stop for one night and they end up staying 3 or 4 nights. Like John there, he was in Killarney. He said he'd come to Tralee and he's ending up staying over a week. Yeah. So, and he was great. He's a great kid. So we have, I think there's a great atmosphere in the house. And I was brought up on a farm where our house was always open to many, many people. And my mother had a B&B and she was very hospitable. And I think maybe we just brought that along with us when we bought the hostel here, because we've had many people say when they come through the door they find it very home welcoming and they feel like they're at home. And instead of staying for one night, they'll stay for 3 or 4 nights. But we have people from all over the world, and out of 99%, they're absolutely fantastic.
And after my time in Keith Finnegan's hostel in Tralee Town, I next hopped on my bike to meet museum official Griffin Joyce in the Kerry County Museum.
Well, we're in Tralee, we're in Kerry County Museum. It's in the Ash Memorial Hall, which is quite an impressive building in the centre of Tralee. So it's on Denny Street, a sort of a wide Georgian street, and there's a park at the end of it, and we're situated here. So we're in a lovely site here in Tralee, one of the nicer parts of the town, and as I say, it's a fine building, and it's got a whole array of riches and knowledge inside, so it's a great place to visit.
And Griffin, what would be the main attractions here in the museum now that people really enjoy when they come to visit?
Well, I suppose one thing that has been kind of popular throughout the years has been the medieval experience here, and Tralee, as you may know, is a medieval town. It has medieval origins. It was founded by the Anglo-Normans, and that's one of the things that we demonstrate here. So what we've done is we've actually reconstructed the town as it would have looked in the 15th century. So the town was owned, if you like, by the Earls of Desmond, and basically we've reconstructed it as it would have looked in the 15th century. So full streetscape with various sounds, sights, and even smells to go along with it.
Oh, that's very interesting. So the odours of I'd say, that could be quite odoriferous or whatever, or whatever. What do people find? What's the best thing about this interaction with history that people enjoy most when they come here?
Well, I think with the medieval experience, it's, I suppose, the whole thing is very visual. So, I mean, it works on a number of levels. Children really enjoy it. I suppose there's a difference between the more kind of traditional gallery layout that we have upstairs, which would be more based on artifacts and, text and things like that. So, I mean, while it's probably a little bit, the recreation is a little bit Disneyland, at the same time, a wider cross section of people can kind of interact and get something out of it, So it's not exactly your traditional museum experience. So I suppose that's the good thing about this building, this museum, that there are a number of different exhibitions, and they're all quite different to each other. So I think there's more or less something for everyone here, really, We're inside in the main museum gallery here, and we're in the medieval section of the gallery, and what we're looking at here in the case is a shield and a gig. So it's basically a stone carving, a quite crude stone carving of a female figure, and as you can see there's quite a large head, kind of bulbous eyes, so they're quite ugly looking. You can see there then she's kind of got sagging breasts. Her legs are splayed, and she has her arms in under her legs, and she's spreading her vulva.
She's a very provocative position now. And what's the meaning of this? What's the significance of the shield and the gig now for our listeners?
Well,
why would it have been created back in the 15th century?
Well, this particular one came out of the River Cashin at Lixna in North Kerry, and it was obviously thrown in there. Probably in the 17th century, I would guess. They're late medieval figures. They're found on castles and churches in Ireland. At the beginning, they were used in churches, maybe in the 13th century, and in that sense, in that context, they seem to be connected with the sins of lust, and very much warning, the parishioners against the sins of lust. But somehow then they seem to get mixed maybe with more of a Gaelic interpretation of the land, and they get put on castles, and in that sense their meaning certainly changes. Maybe it changes to a more positive meaning, I'm not sure. As I say, their exact meaning remains a debate today. It's very hotly debated.
Griffin, just continuing, what would be the kind of the principal questions that people would be asking now when they come to the museum, other than where's the toilet?
We've had some. You get a whole variety of questions. I mean, I suppose usually after people come into the museum, things spark their interest. They learn things that they didn't know before. So we've had one funny scenario here where there was a woman came to the desk, and the receptionist wasn't kind of aware of one of the things we have on display, okay? So just to give the background to it. And the woman came in and she asked for the Sheila and a gig, because she had heard, obviously, or read somewhere that there was a Sheila and a gig here on display. But of course the receptionist thought she was looking for a person. not an object or an artifact. So she said, no, there's no Sheila working here.
That's good. So, from a historical perspective, that's very, very enlightening.
So the woman who was inquiring about the Sheila anyway went on to explain what the Sheila looked like.
I wouldn't even like to imagine how the words that were used.
Well, the receptionist assured her that there was certainly no one like that in this building.
And after my visit to Tralee town, it was back on my bike to continue my cycle-odyssey along Ireland's western seaboard.
With the pedals turning, the miles are burning, revealing landscapes so awe-inspiring, from the crashing ocean to the mountains climbing. Ireland is there for you and me.
Talking with a good man here now, we're in a very special place. First of all, can you introduce yourself to our listeners and also tell them where we are and what goes on here?
Yeah, I'm Michael. Michael Curtin is my name. I came here about 1984-85 to restore the old windmill, just back here in the back. And
Blennerville windmill now, the famous Blennerville, which I saw years ago when I watched Michael Palin on television, and I said, wow, that is so beautiful, I can't believe it's in Ireland.
Yeah, so we came and we got the mill up and running again. Took us a couple of years, and now it's one of the major tourist attractions around the Tralee, so today is a lovely day here, and we have the country markets, as you can see, and so on, and we have a lot of guests calling and a few bus tours and so on, and so the mill is an old flour mill. It was built way back in 1780. It worked till about 1850, and then it fell into disuse. So when we came in 1984, it was just the whole place was just an old ruin. It was an old pig farm that was here, and just the old ruin of the mill. So we got involved, and Foss got involved in it, and we got the mill up and running again. And we also have a restaurant, we have some craft shops, and an exhibition about immigration, because it was the port of immigration here up till about 1851. This is where they left to go to America. It's just over the wall here, just beyond the mill, up till about 1851. Then it closed in 1851 because, the old sea got all silted up and more modern ships came in. There wasn't enough water to bring them up, so Cove and County Cork took over, and this fell into disuse, Yeah.
Oh my God! So in other words, it would have seen the thick of the famine emigration from 1846 onwards. Which would have been a mass exodus from this area. Certainly, there would have. Right up to then, that critical juncture in Irish history.
Oh yeah, I think you're talking about 8 million people, I suppose, in Ireland in those years, and I think 1 million people left around those times to go to America from here and so on. There was nothing here for them really,
Mike, just wanted to ask as well, just watching the people going in here, you're talking about an eclectic mix of people now. There was an Irish family there from Nina going in, but I'd say you're getting people from everywhere.
Oh yeah, we had a French group this morning, and we had Germans. We have a good few Germans, mind you, this year as well, and we get some from all nationalities. We have Americans now. The American market is not as good as it used to be, but still in all, there's a good few hanging about. We get all types of people, different. We have different in here in the audiovisual. We have different languages for them. You know, we have the French and the German, and the English, and we get people from Galway and Connemara. We have to speak the Gaelic for them and so on.
Connemara fad, níl cúpla focail amsach, tá neart agam cocóra himpli a rá, má dugad.
Yeah, so that's it. Tamar Vanna Kunta and Galway.
Oh, Connemara Oscar Roa.
On Spedale. Yeah.
Squelgord Shifshe, or Shishe, or whatever, Mike. The phraseology, Neil Shake Yard.
She dul go díon Copanti, Becky National Couple moment.
Marv Lategas, Marv Gunny.
That's right, yeah.
And Michael, you were saying to me earlier on, I first heard of Blennerville years ago when Michael Pale visited in one of his great railway travelogues of the mid-1990s, when he went into railways around Ireland. Yeah. Now, you've had a lot of famous people visit here the years. Tell us these people.
Likes of Gregory Peck was here. He was a constant visitor when he was alive. His ancestors came from back in Lisbon. We had Neil Armstrong was here.
You actually met Neil Armstrong?
Around and so on and so forth.
Wow, Neil, the first man on the moon.
That's the man on the moon, yeah. So I remember.
What was it like?
Oh, he was a pure gentleman. I remember taking him out to the mill, and I just said, we always warn people about the steps are so steep to go up to the top of the mill. It's fairly high up there, so I said you want to be kind of a bit careful because it's fairly steep. So I was kind of telling the wrong man, a man that was after going to the moon to be watching himself from the heights, So
this is going 25,000 miles, literally distance from the Earth.
Well, I just can't think. We had a few more guys.
It's unbelievable. And what was he like to talk to?
Gentleman. He was a lovely guy.
He's a very down-to-earth person.
Around here for an hour at the time, I think, and we got the mill going, and he was very impressed, and we ground a bit of cotton for him, and sure, he was delighted. Yeah,
And Michael, did you ask him about his time on the moon?
Not really. We just, there was so much hype around when he was there, and all the kids was looking for his autographs and this and that. So, it was. We didn't kind of flab much about that, It was
leave the poor man, leave him in peace.
The view out the bay here and talking about people at the time of the famine and so on, and that's more or less. We didn't get into going to the moon or things like that, but I thought he was a gentleman, a very nice guy altogether,
And Michael, the windmill would have a strong connection with the famine, the ships which would have left up to the 1851 from this area.
Yeah, I think it left about one of the Virginia Johnson. She was one of the famous ships that left from here, and she was rebuilt back there a few years ago again. I think it's up in Dublin at the moment. And I think she made 16 or 17 trips out to the States. She went to New York and Boston and up to Canada and so on in those years, and As I told you, the mill was built by Sir Ronald Blennerhassett, and his wife got beheaded here. It was Sunday, that tells us, because what happened was, you see, the mill, the big sails rotate, They're 80 feet from tip to tip, and there's a big balcony around her. So there's a door coming out on the balcony. But you see, the wind change direction. You have to revolve the roof of the mill 360 to follow the wind, because the wind blows north, south, east, or west, right? So 80% of the time, the prevailing wind is in from the northwest, the west, or the southwest. But March or April, the wind comes in from the east, so you have to turn the cap. And this day, then she put her head out the window. She walked out the door, in the balcony, and boom. The sail was turned to the east, but it was only maybe for a few days in the year, and forced a habit and chopped her head off. And that's
for real, my
Yeah, that's the story. That's
like a Greek tragedy. You actually couldn't write it. If you wrote it in a fiction, people wouldn't believe you.
School kids here and there always about the story, asking about his record. Did you see about St. Lorna's wife and so on? So the kids are always, where did it happen, and when did it happen, and did you see it happen, and
Talking with two good-looking women here now, and my day is made. And first of all, do you want to introduce yourself to our listeners, please?
I am Nora Neville, and I live near Castlemaine in Kerry.
And Nora, this woman beside you here, who is this now?
This is my daughter, Mirabelle.
And Mirabelle, you're not living in this neck of the woods yourself, are you?
I've a holiday home in Inch, and come over from London.
Fantastic. Now, where have you just been yourselves, women, just a few minutes ago?
Blennerville, yes. Windmill, yes.
And how did you find it?
Well, interesting. A bit of history of these Irish leaving. I knew about that, but just I was educating my daughter.
And Mirabel, yourself, do you feel more enlightened now? I mean, what did you enjoy about your visit here?
I love the quilt, which they've made a quilt of the Jenny Johnston and the whole story of the famine told in story form in the quilt. It was beautiful, worth visiting just for that. And there's another quilt there too, just of Kerry, different places of Kerry. So 2 lovely quilts worth visiting if you like quilts. And yes, a very good exhibition of the famine and the famine ships, coffin ships, emigration, and what a hard season that was, what a hard time that was in Ireland. And then the story of the restoration of the mill, how it was part of industry here when it was happening, and it was a happening port, and they sold the grain to England, and then had the decline of that, and then the restoration by the Irish trade to rebuild it and bring work to the area. So yeah, it's an interesting exhibition.
There's no doubt about it, but you should be working for the Irish Tourist Board. You're well able to give the word pictures to listeners. And Mirabel, what is it about, obviously you're living in London, a great city. I stayed there for a while myself, and I loved it inside out and loved going back there and everything. But very, very different from from this corner of the world. How different, and what do you like about coming here, say?
Well, there's not many people, it's mostly sheep. And so if you go on over the mountain, which we just did, from Inch to...
You're pulling the wool over me. Sorry, I couldn't help that. Cheap pun.
So we just came over the mountain from Inch to Blennerville, and we didn't meet a single car on the way. Not a single one, the entire mountain. Beautiful views, as far as you can see, sweeping vistas. And just us on the mountain. Doesn't get much better than that on a sunny day.
To hear more exciting travel adventures, then make sure to catch our next number 2 programme in this 13-part On Your Bike series, when we'll be visiting Dingle town and much more. This programme was made with the support of the Broadcasting Authority of Ireland. From myself, Paul Wright, bye for now.
Ireland is beautiful.
The countryside's absolutely stunning.
The Emerald Isle, and you think it really is an Emerald Isle.
It's beautiful country, and everyone should get out on bikes. Except there's a heck of a lot of uphills, which can be a bit problematic.
With pedals turning, the miles are burning, revealing landscapes so awe-inspiring, from the crashing ocean to the mountains climbing. Ireland is there for you and me, from Mount Escall to Inishowen, from Dalkey Island to Inishbofin, from Carrontool to Lugnaquilla. Ireland is there to ramble free. We'll climb the mountains, swim the rivers, surf the high tide up near Bundoran, set our mainsail towards the Shannon, or see the hookers race off Spittle Shore. On Blasket Island we'll walk the white strand and see where Peg drew her inspiration. Near Ennis Diamond we'll stand on high rocks, those proud and majestic Cliffs of Moher. We'll climb the steps of Skellig Michael, gaze with wonder as dolphins play, where holy true men knelt in obedience to feel the wind as prayers were said each day. From holy places to friendly faces, with glasses clinking and ballads singing, the prayers are rhyming with church bells chiming. Ireland is here for you.